Alright, so you're here for the best $500 gaming PC. Yes boys, and for $500 we're going to get a 6-core CPU, a high-end motherboard, 16GB of RAM, and to top it off, we'll have a decent 8GB graphics card. So if this is what you're looking for, let's get on with this one. And as always boys, we'll be sticking with the same build criteria as with all our previous build, which means all parts must be brand new, there must be no used parts, and all parts must be available at the time of recording. And for those who are new to the channel, we are basing everything off Amazon US, but for everyone else who's living outside the region, please feel free to use this as a guide. And like before, if you have any questions, just pop them down in the comment section. We do read them if we get YouTube notifications. Okay, let's go. Alright, for the processor, we'll be going for Intel this time around, and what we've selected is the Core i5-10400F. This processor is part of Intel's 10th generation CPUs, but this is still highly capable. The single core performance of this chip is still pretty decent. It has 6 cores and 12 threads and clocks up to 4.3 GHz. This one comes with a stock fan, which is okay. It's a bit loud, but hey, it's free. And this processor will only set us back $110. This is actually not a bad deal. We would have opted for the 12100F, but those 2 extra cores will definitely help us with modern games. The motherboard for this build is one thing I really like. Now that everyone has moved towards newer platforms, the Z series boards of this chip are definitely cheap as chips. For this build, we are getting the ASRock Z590 Steel Legend motherboards. Yes boys, this is a Z series board from ASRock. Look at that thing, it just looks really nice and comes with a lot of features. This will have everything we need. It has decent VRM performance with heat sinks all over the place, multiple NVMe slots, RGB headers, and loads of other features, including an RGB lighting. And this one would only cost us $102. Now this is a steal, so bag this one right now. A couple of things to add. This board also comes with 2.5 GB per second LAN capability and a graphics card holder. Ooh. For the memory, we're just going to keep this really simple. We're going for some basic Silicon Power DDR4 RAM, 16GB, 3200 MHz speeds. We picked this one because it's cheap at $35, but it also matches the Steel Legend motherboard with its urban camo design. Yeah boys, urban camouflage, baby. This RAM kit supports Intel's XMP standards, so don't forget to enable this on the BIOS boys. Timings on this kit is also pretty standard at CL16, 18, 18, 38, so it's not amazing, but hey, at least we'll be able to run it at speeds higher than 2666 MHz with our Z series motherboard. Similar to our RAM, we're just going for budget bangers for our storage. We'll need an NVMe storage that's cheap, and what we've selected for this build is a Fantiong S500 512GB NVMe. This has SLC cache and 3D NAND. It's definitely not the best, but this will do the job. It comes with up to 2100 megabytes per second read speeds, and the best part, it's only $24. And I like this one too because it just looks so good in plain black. Before we carry on, if you guys watching this video is interested in building a PC over the next few months, we do these build guides on different price points every month, so hit that subscribe button if you want to be up to speed with the best value PC specs. We do all the research for you, so you wouldn't need to spend more time researching or googling. Anyway, let's go back to. And for our graphics card, we're going for something that has decent performance for this budget build. And no, we're not going for those GTX 1650 or 1630, the RX 6500 XT or the RX 6400. Now, even though we're a bit tight on the money, we're not going for lower performance. Instead, we're going to settle with this one, the Acerix Radeon RX 5500 XT. It comes with 8GB of GDDR6 VRAM, is overclocked from factory, and is only at $140. The RX 5500 XT is a pretty decent entry-level card. It can play the competitive games that we want, and it has 8GB of VRAM, which is handy for games with demanding texture. Obviously, Acerix is not one of those mainstream brands. It is a Chinese branded graphics card, which comes with a very competitive price. However, you can't expect a card with a price like this without any downsides. Alright, The major downsides of this card is that it has a slightly higher noise compared to those mainstream cards, and the build quality is just passable. However, the main thing is that it does the job, it fits in the budget, and it's cheap. And if you're really sensitive about the noise, I've got two solutions for you. You can get these, or you can get more money and get better stuff. And before we move on, I know what you'll be asking. Why aren't you going for the GTX 1660 Super, which these Chinese brands are also selling? Well boys, we initially planned to, but it seems like Nvidia is making sure that these brands will be barred from selling their products on online markets. Apparently, these Chinese makers purchased the GPUs of another Nvidia partner, which wasn't approved by Nvidia. And unlike AMD, Nvidia's drivers are proprietary, and who knows what Nvidia will do. So, these cards might just stop working. So yes, our best bet will avoid these for now. Alright, let's move on. And to power our budget banger, we're going to pick one of our most reliable budget power supplies, and that is the NMAX Cyberbron 500 watts. Yeah boys, if you've been a subscriber of the channel, you'll know why we picked this. And for those who are new, welcome. And we picked this because it has decent build quality and is actually from one of the OG power supply makers. It comes with flat cables, has 80 plus bronze efficiency, and is actually one of the best in its price class, like 40 bucks boys. Add this to your cart right now, you wouldn't regret it. And lastly, for our case, once again, we're going for budget PC cases, and what we've selected here is the Raidmax Oriola H704 ATX case. This one is an ATX case, so it'll fit our Z590 Steel Legend motherboard just fine. And it comes with two static RGB fans, which will help with the ventilation. There's not much to say about this case apart from that it is cheap and will get the job done for 50 bucks. Obviously, you could pick a better looking case or even a much more functional case, but we're trying to stay on point with our budget here. So yes, we'll pick this one. Overall, we have a pretty decent build right here boys. We have the Core i5-12400F, solid 6 cores and 12 threads, a Z590 high-end ASRock motherboard, 16GB of RAM, 500GB of NVMe storage, the RX 5500 XT with 8GB of VRAM, 500 watts 80 plus bronze power supply, and our Raidmax case with 2 fans. This build totals to $500.92. Now that's amazing value, and as always, links to these spots are in the description. Grab these ones right now before they run out of stocks. And if you're interested in a much more powerful PC at around $800, we've recently done a video about it right here, so go check that one out, and we'll see you guys over there.